aggressively casual.
Hello, friends. I think we're working. Maybe.
Yeah, we seem to be. Yeah.
Wonderful. All right. Welcome, everyone, to Aggressively Casual, Episode 3, Uncanny Valley. I, as always, am Freebird. With me to my internet left is Cheeks. Say hi, Cheeks.
Hi, Jakes. What's up, fellas?
Double peace signs. What are you, Richard Nixon?
That would be, I'm not a crook. I'm
Oh,
old, but not quite that. I mean, I remember Nixon, don't get me wrong. Barely. That was when I was like 6 when that
okay,
actually
fair.
went down.
Fair. I wasn't alive yet, you old fuck.
It's true.
But here we are once again, back to discuss whatever the fuck it is we feel like. What have you been playing lately, by the way? I know that you and I both got shiny new toys recently.
We did. I've been messing with that. Speaking of, did you see my thing earlier where I said get liftoff drone XR?
I did
Extra.
not. Are you talking about, like,
Okay.
is it,
Yeah. On the
explain.
Quest 3. It's an AR game on the Quest 3 from the same people that make the liftoff sim.
Okay.
It's a micro drone that you fly around your space. And it's really, really good.
Okay. All right.
You use the controllers, so you don't need an actual controller. But
Got it.
it flies just like a controller. It's like you have your controller in two hands instead of just one. You've got one. It's a split control. Like if you
Okay.
split the controller in half.
Yep. Okay.
Because
That's
one stick is thrust, the other stick is move, and it's like, okay, so this flies the exact same way. I just can put my hands wherever I want them.
Oh, I love that.
I was like, holy shit, this is really.
Is that
really good.
Is that a
It's
free
completely
paid?
free.
Okay.
It's in beta right now. It's completely free.
Okay, cool. Cool. I will definitely check that out. So for those of you who haven't caught on, both of us picked up MetaQuest 3s recently. I got a steal of a deal on mine, and I think you did too. I think you got yours with some upgrades.
Yeah, it came with some upgrades. So because I got mine used, but I got it for I don't know.
Say 320, I think it was.
I think that was complete. Well, I bought a couple of things, so.
Fair.
But it came with the Elite strap.
Yep.
It came with the Elite strap, which is like another $50-$60, and then it also came with a third-party soft faceplate instead of the silicone one. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I picked mine up. I got the top-rated headset strap to go with it, the Bobo S3 Pro. That thing is freaking incredible because it has a battery pack built into it that you can hot swap.
Cool.
That you can hot
I
swap.
have my old. Oh, nice! I have my old battery from my 2 still, and it fits on there.
Was that did that end up working for you? I know you said you were having some problems with charging.
It works, but it is taking forever to charge.
Okay.
I don't really. So it's probably dying.
Probably the first thing you're gonna buy is an upgrade when the budget allows.
Probably, yeah.
But other than that, I mean, I've been playing the Delta Force beta, or Delta Force demo, I guess they're calling it.
I downloaded it. I haven't tried it yet.
I
got distracted by tonight's subject.
Hey, fair. That's definitely fair. And then I've been playing Lord of the Rings Online, which is a game I did, and then World of Warcraft. Obviously, I do the raid streams every Tuesday. But that's pretty much what I've been in. I'm looking forward to Call of Duty this week. Because Call of Duty is Friday, and we can play some zombies together.
Right. I'll have to get it reinstalled. I got to clear some space.
Yeah. Fair.
I found it the other day. It installed itself to the wrong drive.
Oh, that's fun.
So, because I don't put games on my system drive, and this thing had installed itself to it because my system drive is running at a premium space at this point. I'm down to like 16 gig open on the system drive. So,
I think I'm at like 32. I feel you. I feel you.
But. So I can put it on. I got to put it on there. I just haven't reinstalled it yet. I've been, of course, playing Avorion.
Yeah.
Dropping into Secret World Legends.
That's right. That's what you can play Secret Legends.
And then, of course, MechWarrior 5 Clans.
Yep.
Because I am a huge. So I'm going to preface this entire thing.
Right.
So understand everything I'm going to say about this game. I am a massive BattleTech nerd. I mean.
I mean, take BattleTech out of that, you're just a massive nerd.
That's true.
But you have often said that your love for BattleTech is equal to my love for Star Wars.
It absolutely is. I mean, I know some of the authors. I'm friends with some of the authors of the books. I've read all the books. I've got all the stuff. It still sits in my closet to this day. It is. I've got the miniatures. I've got everything. It's like if I got rid of every miniature I own, the BattleTech would be the last thing to go. And that would be probably, you could take my BattleTech from my cold, dead hands.
Fair.
I'm even part of the lore. So there you go.
All right. Now hold on. Now, if you're going to say that, you have to tell the story.
So one of the authors occasionally will take fan names and put them in his books as characters. You don't get any choice on what you are. You could be a street, or something like that. In this case, I had written a theme song for his podcast that he used for his podcast that was about serial killers. Very kind of smoky noir saxophone thingy. All virtual. It's actually a really cool theme. But so he's like, "What do you want for this?" And I'm like, "I don't know, man. Put me in the next book." So I'm in the book. I'm a girl. Whatever. Don't care. Instead of Ed Miller, it's Edie Miller, and she is the head of intelligence for the Republic of the Sphere.
Love it.
Which, if you're a BattleTech nerd, that means something to you. If you're not, it doesn't. And it's going to mean something to different things to different BattleTech nerds because it's post-Jihad era, which a lot of people don't like. But
Fair.
I don't care. I'm actually in the lore for a game that I have loved since the early 80s when I first found it.
That's awesome. Seriously, that's fucking incredible. And every time you tell that story, I go, man, I want to get myself in a Star Wars book.
Right. Well, I have met Stackpole.
I've got friends with I've got friends that have contact with Timothy Zahn. I can make it happen, right?
I had an almost 2-hour conversation with Michael Stackpole before a con opened one day.
Yeah.
We spent very little time talking about Star Wars, to be honest.
Fair.
So let me tell that story too, because it's kind of cute.
All right.
So I used to work for the Tulsa Police Department for many, many years. So they ran security for all these things. And so they're like, hey, you guys want to come over? I'm like, well, yeah, free tickets into the con, not a problem. The only caveat was we had to get there early. Oh, okay.
Oh no.
Shocking. So now how long ago you're gonna realize how long ago this was as I get into this story. So we get there, we check in with our guy, and I'm just kind of wandering the hall outside of the convention hall.
Yeah.
And I walk past this dude. I was looking for something. I don't even remember what it was. And there's this tiny little dude sitting on a desk. Somebody had put a old school desk out in the hallway. And he's sitting cross-legged on the top of this desk, smoking a cigarette. Inside. That tells you how long ago this was.
Yep. Oh, man.
This was the late 90s.
Yep.
And I walked up, read his name, asked him for directions, said, thanks, man. And we started off down the hallway. My cousin was with me. And I got about 8 steps and realized that the name tag had said Michael Stackpole.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at my cousin. I went, you go ahead. I'll be back. I turned around and I wandered back and I apologized. So he's like, okay. And I'm like, it did not register. And, he goes, cool. So he's like, so you want to talk about Star Wars? And I was like, I'm going to be honest, man. I'd rather talk about BattleTech. And his eyes lit up. So, no, we did talk about Star Wars a little bit because I do love the Rogue Squadron books as well.
Yeah.
So I at least got that in there. Books. I'm like, I actually think I said something about, I love the Rogue Squadron books, but I'd rather talk about BattleTech.
Hey, fair.
And, and he was kind of like, oh, good, me too. So we stood there. It had to have been an hour and a half before this con opened, just talking about BattleTech. It was great.
What'd your cousin do?
Oh, he eventually wandered. He was actually looking for somebody. He eventually wandered back. And he then got kind of annoyed with me. I'm like, well, you read his name tag. and I told you what I was going to do. I was like, that said Michael Stackpole. I'm going back.
You
went on. This is not my problem.
All right.
All
right. So
that's my connection to the
MechWarrior 5 Clans is out now, for those of you who do not know. It is on Game Pass if you do not want
It
to
is.
pay. If you have Game Pass and want to give it a shot without paying for it, definitely suggest going that route, especially for two reasons. You've dug pretty deep into this game. I've dug fairly deep into this game, and there are some glaring issues with this game that bug the shit out of me.
Right. Let me start with the moment-to-moment gameplay is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
The switch to Unreal 5 was probably a good move.
Yep.
It looks great. Plays pretty good. Plays very good. Let me rephrase it. It plays very good. I like the way it feels. The sound design of the weapons is on point.
Yep.
Even the machine guns sound good.
Yep.
And I'm like, I can just sit there and hold the machine gun trigger down and just listen to that Daka go, #40K. But yes, there are some problems. And there's like 90 minutes of cutscene. And therein lies the problem.
Yep.
There's two problems. One, as we've discussed, I think they just recorded the very first table read and called it a day.
Yep.
The dialogue in most places is flat, it's lifeless, it's emotionless, it's stilted. And now some of you are going to go and start saying, yes, but the clans talk. No, it's like, let me read. I'm going to correct you. The clans speak formally. They do not speak they don't go to the William Shatner School of Acting.
Right.
If you know what I mean.
And it's like the thing that really pulled me out of it is you and I played a couple missions together, and there was one mission where it was obviously something very dramatic was happening. Like they had lost somebody was hurt or dying or whatever.
Yeah.
And they delivered their their lines with all of the gravitas of a fucking wood post.
Right. It was like, oh my God, I can't believe this has happened.
Yeah, I was just like, what is going on here?
What the hell was that? Yeah.
There wasn't even an attempt at like a exasperation anything.
Right.
It was just
nothing.
Oh, this is happening. Oh no. Oh Lord. And I after we played, I played a bit more, and then I read some reviews and watched some stuff because I wanted to see if I was the only one, and I found some people who were like, the voice acting in this is great. And I'm like, what?
Right.
What?
I've read some of that stuff and I was like, apparently we are the only ones, but we're not. I have found some other people who say the same thing of every time you'll see a comment, it's like, this voice acting is really good. And somebody will be like, what voice acting are you listening to? Because I want to listen to that.
I want to listen to that voice acting, please.
But yes, I get it. It's weird because they don't use, traditionally the clans, when they speak, they don't use contractions.
Right.
So it makes it, but they're speaking formally, not stiltedly, and this is very stilted, and it's just a lot of it, like you say, when you're like, great. Wow, that line probably should have had some more emotion.
Right.
Or any emotion.
Any emotion. I would have taken any over nothing.
Right. I will say there are some scenes that are better than others.
But it's even in the cutscenes. Like I can understand. Okay.
There are cutscenes that are better than others with the delivery of that. There are some. There's one in particular that happens not terribly long after where we were. I don't want to get into spoiler territory too much.
Fair.
There's an event that happens in the game, and important off-screen character dies.
Okay.
And so they're delivering this news, and I'm like, wow, that's okay. I'm like, it seems like it should have been a little bit more emotive there. But
all right, maybe a little bit, maybe just a little bit of something, please. Somebody, come on. But the other thing, beyond the voice acting, which is just unexcusable to me. If you are putting out what is supposed to be a AAA title, you can't put out. I mean, even with foreign developers, you can't put out voice acting like that because how many other foreign developed companies put out voice acting that is incredible? Even if it's dubbed voice acting, like the First Descendant. The First Descendant is a good example of some of it's good, some of it's bad, but on the whole, it's pretty okay.
Right,
Like,
and they're trying.
and they're trying. I would have accepted first descendant levels of voice acting,
Right.
but we didn't even get that.
I had a thought, and I'm hesitant to bring this up because it's kind of a hot button topic, and
Go
somebody's
ahead.
going to fry me.
Go
And
ahead.
I do not mean to disparage the people that are claiming to be the voice actors in this game.
Okay.
I say that because if at some point when we were playing, I made a comment because we looked it up. It's like, is this AI?
Yeah.
You know, one sec. Sorry. I looked it up, and there's people that are like, oh, I play the part of blah blah blah, and I'm like, my thought was, are we getting Milli Vanilli'd here?
Right.
Where these are actors that have been hired to play the actors?
Well, I mean, the thought that I had was that they were actors that lent their voice to an AI model.
Right.
That like,
because
something of that
the voice
it
acting
just something isn't
comes
adding up
across
for
like
me.
AI.
Yeah.
It comes across like AI. There's just it's real to a point.
Yep.
And then you hit the uncanny valley of audio.
Yep.
Which was before we get to the uncanny valley of what the hell are those facial animations?
Oh my god. Yeah. Okay. So like as I was about to say, so not only in the cutscenes are the facial animations bad. The facial animations are bad in the little pop-up window when somebody is speaking in your missions.
Reminds me of old Wing Commander.
But it's worse than old Wing Commander.
Well, I know because most of them in Wing Commander are wearing a helmet and you couldn't see their mouths.
Exactly. But basically, it looks like the dudes that
Old
are
school
talking,
Fallout.
whoever is talking in the little mission frame window that's about, yay big on your screen, it looks like that's running at like half the speed of everything else. Nothing is synced with the voice that's going on, and it just, I understand what they were doing and why they cheaped out on it, but it looks so bad. And I commented to you at one point when we were playing, and it honestly threw me for a loop when I was playing by myself, it drove me crazy because I thought that my game was stuttering.
Right.
I thought something was wrong with my game because of how jittery that was compared to everything else going on my screen.
Right. I honestly don't pay too much attention other than to look to see who's speaking.
Yeah.
In those.
Yeah.
I don't like stare at that as they're talking because that normally people are shooting at me still.
And normally I wouldn't, but like it's all I could think about.
Right.
It's all I could and I just it again, it's one of those things that took me completely out of the game. And like if I were to give this game a review score right now, I'm at like a 6.
Yeah,
and I'm at like a 6 because of the bugs that I encountered. Because I had 2 soft locks where
I didn't have that problem.
Where I guess I went the wrong way from where everybody else was going, or I got there too fast because I went somewhere and nobody followed me, and the voice acting stopped, and the world was just still. Nothing was happening. And then I found where everybody else was, went back over to where they were, and tried to do something to initiate something, and nothing was going on.
I take that back. I had that happen to me once.
And I was like, okay. So I had to restart the whole freaking mission. And every time it was at the end of the mission. Or towards the end of the mission.
Hurt me.
Every time. And I was just like, this isn't fun for me.
Right.
It's like the fucking crashes that I had playing Star Wars Outlaws. I'm like, this is no longer fun for me. This is a slog to get through because I enjoy playing the game.
Right.
But anybody else having that experience would have quit the damn game.
Yep. I did have that happen once, and I did, and still every once in a while you'll get. If you get too far separated from your star mates, it takes them a minute to catch up. Yeah. To go, oh, you went over there, we went over here. Oops, sorry, coming. You know, but I did figure out what's wrong with the faces.
Yeah.
The anatomy is wrong. And speaking as an artist, anatomy is important. Basically the lips and the teeth are too far apart.
Yes.
There's this weird gap, and it's what is weird to me is it's not consistent on a lot of the characters. The main character, especially Jaden, there are scenes where his face looks good. It just the animations are good. It looks good, and everything looks right. And then there are scenes where it doesn't, where suddenly there's this gap that wasn't there before. Most of the characters all have this like gap, like God, this is gonna sound terrible. Almost like they have a partial snout, as opposed to just a face.
Yeah, yeah. That's the easiest way that can be
It's the
explained.
easiest
You're
way
correct.
to describe it. But that's why it doesn't look right, because the anatomy is wrong.
Yeah. So like I'm as you're talking, I'm going through some of these reviews I see in OpenCritic, and
Right.
like I agree with a lot of what's being said here, but I think the scores are too high. I think that ACG was right in marking it as a wait for sale. I
Right now,
think
I would
that-
tend to agree. I don't think I would encourage anyone to pay full price for this. I wouldn't, pay it for
No.
a month of Prime, or pay for a month of Game Pass. Play it there.
Yeah.
Wait for them to patch some of this shit out.
Yeah.
Now, granted, again, I haven't encountered as many of the bugs as you have, but I have hit a few, and it is annoying.
Right. Because again,
Anytime you
takes
hit bugs, it takes you
Yeah.
out, right?
Yeah.
And it's like when I'm in the studio creating music, if I'm having problems with the software, nothing kills creativity like technical issues. And it's the same thing when I'm trying to play a game. Nothing kills my enjoyment like technical issues.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. It drives me batty. Absolutely drives me batty.
There was something we tried to play early on, and we gave up because of the bugginess.
Space Marine.
It's fairly. Oh yeah, Space Marine.
Space Marine.
No,
Yeah,
I was like, this happened recently too.
I mean, you and I,
and
literally-
nobody else seemed to be having those problems.
Well, and the thing of it is like, and my thing with Space Marine is I wanted to love it so bad because I loved the first one so much.
Oh yeah.
And Space Marine 2 for me is just a dud. I've played it once since we've put it down.
The last time I played it was the day we were doing the PvP.
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't want to play it by myself, the campaign, because it's a damn slog if you don't have somebody else with you. At least one other person. I've watched people who are really good at playing games like this on difficulties that you and I will never touch, and just go, no, I'm not interested. Nope, don't want to. Not happening.
Why will we never touch them? Because we are aggressively casual. Hey,
Exactly. Hey, he said the thing. Roll credits. Thanks for coming, guys.
Right.
No,
Peace out.
but it. I'm not mad at the game. I'm just disappointed in the game.
Disappointed.
I'm disappointed because that game has had everything I wanted, and then the server disconnects and the stuttery, jittery bullshit, the no ultra wide on launch, like all these little things that a beta would have cleared up. By the way,
right,
which
the beta,
they
decided
chose
they didn't have
not
time to
run. Which they chose not to run and put the game gold anyways.
Test again. That simple.
But what do we know?
Part of the problem is though, too many people just use the beta test as a chance to play a game early.
Well, sure.
Without ever reporting any issues that they have or anything like that. I remember back in the day when you had to work if you wanted to beta test a game.
Oh yeah.
You know,
I remember like when we did the beta testing for Star Wars Old Republic back in the day. Right. We literally had forms that we had to fill out after every play session.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to know where the bugs were, and it wasn't. And yeah, part of it was playing the game, and
now everything goes to Discord
and whatnot.
So,
Well, but it's not even that.
Still.
It's not
Right.
even that. Part of it was, playing the game, but part of it was, hey, go run, into
Right.
this zone and
Go
go
do
run
this
all
thing.
along all of the boundaries. And can
Yep.
you go anywhere you're not supposed to?
Right.
That was just part of it. That was part of
It's
playing the
like
game.
back when I was a software developer, not games, but I was doing development for Tulsa Police Department.
Yeah.
I had coworker came along one day. I had finished developing up this form, and I had it up, and I was just putting all sorts of shit in the, whatever I could think of, whatever key combinations I could think of in the entry fields. And like, what are you doing? It's like, I'm trying to break my form
Yep.
because here's the thing I've learned about users. If it can be put in a field, they'll put it in a field.
Yep.
It's like a toddler. Don't put that in your mouth.
Yep. End
There it
users
goes.
end users will find ways to break your things you never thought possible.
Right, and that's not even on purpose. It's just they
Nope.
do a thing, and they're like, "Oh, I thought that's what you wanted," or "I thought that's where that went." Especially when it comes to like special characters thing. But my point is like break it. Don't. But the developers themselves, and I have a sneaking suspicion that the Space Marine guys fell into this because when you're developing an application or a game, having done both, I've done some game development back in the day, including my capstone project for my computer science degree.
Nice.
You tend to use the application or play the game the way you think it should be played.
Right.
As opposed to when you put that game out, which is also why, again, no matter how much you beta test your game, you do eventually have to go, okay, we have to go out to the world at large. And when you take, even if you have, say, 10,000 beta testers,
Right.
that's one thing. But when you put that out and suddenly you've sold 1 million copies of this game, 1 million people are going to find a lot more problems than those 10,000 did.
Yeah.
Because just from sheer randomness of, like the one where you got stuck in the wall
Yeah.
while playing the Star Wars game,
Yep.
and had to start over completely because you got stuck
Yep.
in a wall.
Yep. I had to start the
But
mission.
yes,
Yep.
I would agree. Their scores are probably a touch high at the moment.
Well, now I did pop over to Metacritic just to see. The user score is on point for me. I mean, it's between a 5. It's at a 5.6 right now.
Yeah, it's not
That-
bad. It's a little low for me
Now,
just for
granted,
gameplay.
granted, it's on 8. It's based on 18 user ratings, and I mean, realistically, when you look at it, like the negatives might. I mean, if we do this,
Stealth mission. Yeah, stealth. Yeah, they're supposed stealth missions are kind of bullshit.
yeah,
They didn't do a good job with the stealth. And I'm like, look, you're a big stompy robot. There's no such thing as fucking stealth.
right.
That's all this. The game is fun, but not even close to Mercs. I don't know about that.
I don't know about that.
FPS drops. Still.
Yeah, I mean, the FPS drops were real.
See, that's just it. I have yet to see a real FPS drop, and I'm on a fucking 2070.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the key, though, because I rarely have these problems, but I'm also not pushing it hard. I'm running at 1080p, just doing my thing. As long as it runs smooth to me visually, that's all I give a damn about.
I mean, this is true. Mech Warrior 5 Clans has to include Mech Warrior 5 and Mech Warrior 5 plus mods. I mean, that's true.
Right.
Especially if you're on PC, that's true.
Right. Modding Mech Warrior 5 is difficult, though.
It is, yes.
Even getting them installed is kind of a pain.
It is, yeah. I agree with you. It is.
Hit that. Hit more of that. What's the rest of it? What's he have to say on that? The rest of it there, right there on his that we're reading. Hit more. Yeah. What is different? Single player is fully imagined, mostly well-done story, compelled to the story of the main game. True. Much better story. You're still forced to play as generic, dumb-faced, average guy. Actually, you're forced to play as a young guy who suspiciously looks a lot like a young Tom Cruise.
Right.
So I wasn't the only one that saw that.
No.
It's not gameplay, graphics have changed, UI, general design, everything looks cleaner, but also cluttered. That's true. Does that make sense for
I mean,
smoother, react quick and more direct. I still hear the classic controls rather than the pseudo first person shooters. I've tried both. The new control scheme's not bad, but again, it basically locks the torso and the legs to the same thing, so you have to turn the entire mech, and you're in a machine that's designed to torso twist independently from the legs, so it makes turning like molasses on a cold day.
Yeah.
Which is bad.
Bad.
Weapons, sound design. Everybody's like, the sound design is on point, though.
Yep.
You see, this guy doesn't like them, though. I'm like, I think the sound, weapons have a lot less weight and impact. PPCs, almost every game has gotten PPCs wrong.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, MechWarrior Online gets it pretty right.
Correct.
The gameplay in MechWarrior Online is fantastic, actually. The actual gameplay in MechWarrior Online is amazeballs. I love it. I just wish there was give me that combat engine in this game, and I'd be happy.
Yeah.
Oh, did they go back to the blue balls? Oh, we've come full circle because I haven't messed with PPCs much yet.
Yeah.
I'm more of a large laser guy. Because in MechWarrior 2, they were like balls of lightning instead of, and they're supposed to be a lightning bolt, basically, essentially.
But it's easy. It's easier to animate a blue ball of light than it is to do a lightning bolt. Let's be real.
Right.
That's why they did it.
Right. Sure. I also want to try the Gauss rifle because, again, going back to MechWarrior 2, watching a Gauss round hit in MechWarrior 2 and then watching the armor explode off the opponent's
My thing is the Gauss
that
rifle.
Shit never gets old.
The Gauss rifle didn't really do shit for me. I was not happy with it. I didn't like it. Yeah.
Also, though, I tend to stay with the exception of missiles, I tend to stay with energy loadouts because old school mercenary player.
Fair.
I'm not spending ammo money. So, I've played so much BattleTech and MechWarrior over the years with that mindset. It's just kind of ingrained in me.
Yeah, fair.
Plus, I don't run out. The only way I lose that was if you blow that weapon off. Otherwise, I'm still firing through the entire fight. Whereas, when you're beginning mech, when you run out of those little SRM2s, now you're like, click, 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 nothing happens.
I like this review. The lack of sandbox really limits gameplay. It does. The base story is not bad. The voice acting feels like a third grade play. Not sure if it's the crappy dialogue or the crappy delivery that hurts it the most.
Right. Now, and I did mention, I don't know if I mentioned it while we were playing or just on Discord one night, that some sort of mission generation thing should have been
in the game.
Should have been in the game.
Should have been in the game because you're not going to get very far.
Right. Once you're done with a campaign, there's only so many times I'm going to rerun those missions. To finish up getting out. And apparently you just barely unlock everything. I haven't completely finished the campaign. I've seen the end of it.
Yeah.
The AI of the mates are also not the best, but there is no good single-player game where you get a good AI buddy on your side. That is wrong. That is false. That is demonstrably false.
Which game?
Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay, I've not played that.
Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima, and also honestly, Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
Because there are moments where you go back and forth as both Spider-Mans, Peter and Miles, and the AI takes over for whichever character you're not playing and does a fucking great job. Absolutely great job. Yeah, it's wonderful. Demonstrably false.
Is it though? That's two examples.
Sure, but he said no other game.
Okay.
He said no other game.
Technically true. I'll allow it. I will allow it.
Yes!
Judge
win!
says I'll allow it.
I win!
It is technically true, but it's certainly not. It is certainly true for mech games. The AI in games just fuck.
That's right.
Guys, just shoot at something. You know. I mean, the only command you ever need to know in a mech game is attack my target.
Right? Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's it. That's all you ever need to
Yeah.
know.
But
That's another thing, however, about this game. I understand why, but the clans do not fight that way. The clans
correct.
fight, they will fight you one-on-one until you make the mistake of shooting multiple mechs. Then it's game on.
Yep.
They just do away with that almost from the very beginning. And then they bring it up at one point in the story.
Yeah,
Only when it makes sense. And I'm like, oh, come on. You haven't mentioned this the entire effing game, and now suddenly it's important?
fair.
No.
Fair.
That is unearned.
Fair. Yeah. I agree with that.
It's also why the Smoke Jaguars were disappointed with House Karita because of they supposedly follow Bushido and the Code of Samurai,
Right.
which should have been the same thing, but then they do all this underhanded shit, and they're like, wow,
Right.
but
So,
I get why they did it, because you can't, if you're a new MechWarrior fan, that you're not going to understand that.
no. And I will say this. This is the most accessible MechWarrior has ever been. I'll give it that. Because this simplified a lot for a lot of people.
Yeah, it does.
And that's a good thing, because
It's less sim and more arcade.
yeah, if you want to grow the franchise, you've got to
Right.
have some place for some people to start and get hooked. And then you can tell them, well, hey, there's, MechWarrior 5 or MechWarrior Online you can go play.
Right.
That has all these insane customization, little finicky bollocks things, right? So it
Right. Keep talking. Be right back.
all right. I think that they won there. I have concerns about their ability to continuously update and patch the game as they need to.
Yeah, we'll
but
see.
that's only coming from a space of this is the product they gave us at launch. What are their plans post launch? And they haven't really said much as
I
far
will
as they've been
say,
able to gather.
Story-wise, they have a golden opportunity.
They do.
Have you seen the end? What happens?
Yes.
So, yeah, storyline, they have an absolutely golden opportunity. Also, I realize there's two choices. I've seen one ending. I haven't seen the other. The choices, but it's the ending of the choices that I would make and am making, actually, before I even got there. It's like, oh, yeah, this is definitely the path that I'm on.
Right.
But we talked about this, too, before the game ever started, because I was complaining about Smoke Jaguars. I was like,
Yeah.
why did it have to be Jaguars? Sound like Indiana Jones. Jaguars. Why did it have to be Jaguars?
Right.
New Plaid, you go first. So, but they give you a way to kind of an out, if you will. So they have a golden opportunity with the thing, and some people that come in later. Again, I don't want to get too far into spoiler territory just yet. It's only been out for less than a week.
Less than a week.
So I don't want to get too far into spoiler territory.
Same.
Now the next time we talk about it, all bets are off.
Fair.
I will usually try to avoid spoilers for things, movies, etc. for the first couple of weeks for people. I'm polite. After that, it's more about frankly it's on you.
Yep.
It's more on you than it is on me.
Yep, I agree. So, beyond MechWarrior 5, right? There are 2 or 3 games coming out, I think, that I'm interested in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Right?
Maybe 4 weeks, because it looks like obviously Friday is Call of Duty.
Right.
Which I'm going to play because it's on Game Pass and I have Game Pass. That means I finally don't have to pay.
Well, right. I'm perfectly willing to play it when when I've technically already paid for it.
Yep. And then next week
That's why you have Game Pass, right? I mean,
right. That's why you have Game Pass.
Why you have Game Pass?
You have Game Pass for titles like this. Exactly. Next week is Red Dead Redemption on PC. I highly suspect that will go cheaper, so I'm not going to purchase it until it goes
Absolutely
on sale.
not. Within by either Christmas or the very spring sale, it'll be a third of that price.
I think so. I think so too.
That is
And
another
then-
topic that we can talk about, because I think the pricing on that is criminal.
I do too.
I think it's absolutely criminal. We're talking about a 14-year-old game.
Yeah, to release a 14-year-old game
For
at
$50
is insane. I don't care what upgrades you've done to it, Rockstar, and it's not even Rockstar doing it. They paid some developer to do it, which is probably excuse me, why the game is so expensive. They're trying to cover their labor costs on the third-party developer they hired to do the conversion. That
You'd have
being
been
said,
better off just porting it. Don't remaster. Don't try to do anything. Just
it's
port
not
the
even.
damn thing over.
But the thing of it is, they didn't even remaster it. Not really. All they did was update the 4K texture. That's it.
Right.
Nothing else looks any different than the game I played 14 years ago. Now, don't get me wrong. I love the game. I will buy it.
Game.
I will buy it. I will stream it. I love that game. That game made me fall in love with Rockstar.
The only thing only way that game could be better is if it had co-op.
Yep.
That's what I want. Same thing I wanted from Fallout. I didn't want Fallout 76. I just want to be able to play Fallout with a couple of buds.
Yep. Give me Fallout with friends. Give me Red Dead Redemption with friends.
Red Dead. I didn't want RDO. RDO is, of course, RDO is one of the greatest games that could have been.
Yep. RDO was shelved when they realized that GTA Online could still make money.
Right. And the thing about RDO is, holy shit, even today, that game is fucking gorgeous.
Yep.
Absolutely drop dead. There are vistas in there. Every time because I still have it, right? And every once in a while I'll jump back in and I'll run around. And every time I come across these vistas and just stand there, when I don't just, run straight off the cliff.
Yep.
Hashtag if you know, you know. Just stand there and just take pictures of the vistas. Like, holy crap, this game looks amazing.
Yep, and then we've talked about Dragon Age next week on Halloween.
Oh yeah, is that next week?
That's next week. That's Halloween. Yeah. 10 days from now. So I'm looking forward to that one. It should everything I've seen looks like it should be pretty good. The one I'm really interested in for the Switch next month in November is the new Mario and Luigi title. That's the one I'm really looking forward to.
I don't have a Switch, so I would like one, but I don't have one.
Well, the thing about it at this point, wait until the Switch 2 comes out because it should be backwards compatible, and you can play all the same damn games, or just
but on the bright side, that means the Switch will get real cheap.
It's already real cheap. You can buy a Switch Lite for $100 these days
if you can find one.
They're fair, but at least with the lights you can mod them too, because Nintendo totally supports piracy.
All right. There's the thing about the Switch and the Nintendo for me, unlike my brother who big Nintendo person. There's just not enough games for me to sometimes justify the price.
And I've
kind of passed the age where I'll pay $200-$300 for a console just to keep playing Mario.
Yep, I agree with you. If I mean I got my Switch at launch originally because we needed content for Senshudo.
Sure.
Right, and it worked. We built a pretty decent Switch following here, and had a good time. And then, about a year into it, I was like, okay, the games are coming, but not at a pace where I feel like it's worth keeping it. So I dumped mine, and then a couple years later, I picked up another one for $50 because the guy said it wouldn't turn on, and I put a battery in it, and it worked.
If I could get one for $50, I absolutely would buy it. I mean, you know me.
Yeah, exactly.
And trust me, every time I go in a pawn shop, I wander over and I look and see what they want for them, and I go, no.
Right. Yep. That's how I am too. But I mean, other than that, like we're in that weird period where a couple of games that were supposed to come out have been pushed to like February and March. Looking at you, Assassin's Creed Shadows. But honestly,
hey, at least they didn't get pushed till 2026. Looking at you, Squadron 42.
Right? Oh my god,
that game's never coming out. That game's never fun coming out. I've made my peace-ish with it. Wing Commander is my all-time favorite space game series. Period.
Yep.
Full stop. As much as I love the X-Wing games, if somebody said you can choose X-Wing or you can choose Wing Commander, I'll be like, give me Wing Commander. And so from the very first time the trailer came up, and I was like, okay, this is cool. And I was like, that looks like a Confed carrier. Awful lot, like a confed carrier. And then the little text comes across the bottom. Vega system. Take my money. Shut up and take my money. It was right then. Boom. Done. I was sold. Even though he can't use the name, although technically now he can if he really wanted to.
Yep.
The company that owned the rights to make more games gave them up. Last year? Year before last, maybe. Sometime in that last. So the point being is the license reverted back to Chris Roberts.
Yeah.
So they could if they wanted to, but that would require them to rebrand everything, and that's not really necessary. We all know that Star Citizen Squadron 42 is just the successor to Wing Commander. I'm okay with that. But point being is, I've been in this from the I have an original golden ticket, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
I have a first 5,000 pin. My RSI number is 4 numbers, not 8. That freaked a dude out one time too, because you can already join guilds and companies, things like that. And so I joined one of my friends, and he's like, "I'm gonna need your RSSI number." I'm like, "It's like 4232 or something to that effect. It's somewhere in that area, right?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "What?" No, I need the number. That is the number. Punch it in. He was like, "Oh my God." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm one of those guys." I backed this game before it was ever on Kickstarter. The original that they did, if you recall, that didn't come till later. They originally did this crowdfunding just through their own webpage.
That's right. They did. You are correct.
And they funded the shit out of it through just their own webpage. And then they later took it to Kickstarter. I'm losing my voice. I saw this sinus infection thing I got going on. I'm starting to sound like a prepubescent kid. They later took it to Kickstarter, made even more money. And don't get me wrong, so the thing is, for a game of this caliber, 10 years of development is outside of the norm. But what people fail to realize is we usually do not get to see development from concept to implementation. Right. Please don't misunderstand me. Before we go any further, I am not an apologist for them. I'll get to that. But the point is, up to 10 years, okay. Now we're into 12, I think it is. Mm-hmm. But even before that, with the selling of the ships and the new ships, and they're not even selling ships, they're selling concepts of ships at times.
Oh yeah, right.
They are failing. They are the victim of massive scope creep at this point. Yep. Nobody there has said, okay, we need to lock a feature set down and go.
Yep. Nope.
But at this point, whether you think it's a Ponzi scheme or not, I go back and forth. Depends on how annoyed I am that day that Squadron 42 is not out yet, because that's why I bought the game. I don't particularly care too much about the Star Citizen part of it. I will play it. I mean, I've played it, but if it ever comes out live, I will play it.
Yep, same.
But I wanted Squadron 42. That's what I wanted. I wanted a new, brutally good single-player space combat game. And it looks great. That's the thing. It's what pisses me off. Like, this really looks good.
Yeah.
All-star cast aside.
Right. Well, and every time they show more, every time they show more, I'm like, fuck, I want in, but I can't trust it.
Right.
I can't.
And I
want to buy in.
I got to the point where I fought to refund it. Now, granted, I'm not far into it. I'm $60 into this.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I got the original thing, and my friend bought me one of the extra ships that actually is in the game for my birthday one year because they were on sale, and he knew it was one that I was really looking forward to getting.
Yeah.
It's the Freelancer Mercenary, which is essentially the Millennium Falcon.
Oh, damn. Nice.
Stat-wise.
Nice.
It's their version of what would be your light freighter with some upgun issues. So I was like, I really want this.
So it's for me with Star Citizen, like, I didn't buy the game. My buddy bought me the game after I had heard about it, and he was like, you should come join us. I've played the game. I like what is there, but there's no sense in playing when it works. And there's no sense in playing until we actually have an idea of hey, this is sticking around for a while. We're not going to wipe all your progress after,
Right.
a week, 2 weeks, a month of playing, whatever,
And that's a
whatever it
problem
is.
they're going to have, right? The only solution, and it's not a great one, is they're going to have to take the server farm that they have and make that the test realm. This is now your PTC, but now the live servers we're going to require you to start over.
Yep.
And so they're in a pickle at this point because they've got a game that's been persistent now for years.
Yep.
But it's persistent on a test server.
Right.
You're still in beta, for fuck's sake.
Well, but the problem is it's not even that. It's that it's not. I don't know how to put this. It's not consistently persistent because of the wipes.
Right.
So, like you're just kind of stuck.
Well, and every time they tried to hey, we're gonna do this server, whatever they did, they're whatever they were calling it, to because they want this big whole. They're big on the single shard, right?
Yep.
Everybody's in this, and no, don't.
No, please don't. Yeah, no, don't.
You're never gonna make this work. So just don't, or get the game out not single sharded, and then work that later. At this point, and you're starting to see it because there's more and more legal issues that are popping up. You need to deliver a product. They get around it by saying, well, we have a playable product. Yes, but you have a playable beta test. It's not a delivered product. Right. It's not a retail product.
Exactly.
You don't have it out in stores, or so to speak, get an actual retail release out.
Yep. But again, I'm in the camp of people who are if it comes out, I will play it, but I don't see it coming out. So
right, I at this point I'm like, this is vaporware.
Squadron.
It's vaporware that I desperately want, but it's fucking vaporware.
Squadron 42 was said that it was feature complete and just needed polish in 2023. Now you've pushed it to 2026, which means that you allowed Squadron 42 to have the same level of goddamn scope creep the rest of the fucking game has. Right. Squadron 42 was supposed to be the thing that tided over the people who were waiting for Star Citizen to release.
Right.
Now you've made it so that is no longer possible, and you've pissed people off.
Oh yeah, well yeah, most of their player base is pissed off in which they perform, and then you have a group of people who are just pie in the sky. This will eventually, it may eventually release,
sure.
And I get it, and I want this game just as bad as anyone else. We all know my love of space sims. I have an unnatural thing about space games. I freely admit it.
Yes, you are unnatural. We know. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, wait.
Space games and survival games. I have a thing. I don't. Whatever.
And if you merge the two, Cheeks is done. He's finished.
You're never going to see me again.
Finished. You will never see Cheeks again. He will log into that game until the day he dies, and even then, I think he'll find a way to play in the afterlife. Exactly.
Can you just stick a Ouija board in my office chair, please? God damn it, I was drinking. Sorry, not sorry. But yeah, I want this game. Yes, it's so bad. I want this game, but I'm just like, eh. What pisses me off is when they release shit like they do every year at CitizenCon and like, look this, and I'm like,
you're like, yay, except crap,
right?
Yep.
And now you're telling me it's 22 more years. I'm like, look, man, I'm already 54. For fuck's sake.
Yep.
I would like to be able to still hold a controller when this game comes out, please.
If you can't hold a controller in 2 years, we got problems, my friend.
No, but the point is, it's been this long, and they're just going to push it again, right?
I know. All right, we've been rambling for about an hour.
Yep.
I think that's going to cut it here, but
sorry,
as always,
late.
guys,
technical difficulties and other things were getting in the way.
Technical difficulties and a 3-year-old who would not shut the fuck up.
Like they do.
Like they do, exactly. I'm not mad about it. It just is what it is. He had a long day at school, and then he had a long night here, and then he's whining about his friend not wanting his friend to leave and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's just typical kid stuff. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But I thank y'all for putting up with it. And as always, we love you all very much. And we'll be back. What is it? Today's the 21st. We're back in 2 weeks. So that's the 4th.
Fourth. The 4th.
November 4th.
May the 4th or November the 4th be with you.
November the 4th be with us.
Right.
You.
Right.
Words. Things. Anyways, guys, for me and Cheeks, we love y'all, and we'll see you all again as soon as we can.
See you guys.
This may be the last time you see me. This might be the last gig I do. At the end of today, I may just pass away. On the other hand, it might be you.